What's up, everybody? My name is Colton for MMOHuts.com, and today I'm joined by...
Hi, I'm Alex Cantatore. I'm the brand manager for Evil Mojo Games. We make Paladins. Brand manager means that I am in charge of all of the boring marketing stuff, but also I lead the product development. So I do all of the lore. I'm setting the product calendar for what champions are coming out, new maps, what skins happen. So yeah, it's a really fun job, and I'm excited to work on such a great game.
All right. Wonderful. Glad to have you with us. So obviously the big thing for Paladins in the last year, other than some of the events and the introduction of Evil Mojo branching off and becoming its own thing, is the Switch.
Yes.
That's been a big transition for Paladins.
It's been great, yeah.
How has that gone? Like, have there been any were there any major bumps in the road making that transition from PC to...
Yeah, so for our programmers, I think there were quite a few bumps in the road because it was not easy to get Paladins running at 60 frames a second on Switch in handheld mode. They put in a lot of long hours on that, and it was only a couple weeks before E3 when we showed it to the world that we really got it rock solid 60 frames a second. So it was hard to get there. In terms of other things we weren't expecting, there are a lot of really awesome people in the Switch community who are really passionate about the game, and they want a lot of different features that we hadn't thought about. So when we shipped the game, we didn't have gyro controls because we were like, oh yeah, we don't really need that. It's like everybody just plays with sticks, right? And they were like, no, we need gyro controls. So we put a whole crew of people on it, and they're awesome now. So
100% of that, I guarantee, is because of Splatoon 2.
Yeah, which is a great game.
People love playing. Yeah, they love playing. Well, it's a great game overrun with cheaters. Yeah, I mean, this just being honest. That's why I like quit playing it, is because I'm tired of having hackers in every match.
But I will say, mayo is better than ketchup.
Yeah, I mean, that's obvious. Yeah. I'm sad that Donatello lost the Splat, or Donatello beat out Michelangelo in the Splat.
Oh, I'm Team Donatello.
Yeah,
you got the bow. I mean, how do you beat the bow?
That's because you're a man of taste.
All the turtles are fine, but Michelangelo and Leonardo are my two favorites. So, anyway. Moving on. So there have been quite a few champions this year.
Yep.
Obviously, the roster's expanded a lot. Which, if any, do you think have had the biggest impact on the meta?
Ooh, so that's really tough. So there's two champions that I think have had a kind of an equal impact. So Khan, our general, who is part of House Ico's armies, his introduction was by far like our biggest champion introduction to date when we introduced him. The way that the meta works in Paladins right now, 2 tank comps are really good. So adding a new frontline was really important to gameplay, and he's just picked a lot because he's good at what he does and he's fun to play, and he also kind of changes the game a little bit when he's in there.
And he has a force throw.
Oh, and I will say, just on the subject of comps, on Switch, one tank comps are coming back.
Okay.
Yeah, that's been, like, every game in the last 25 games I played has been one tank comps.
Well, I was watching the Paladins Console League, or Console Wars last night, and man, the picks and bans were just out of this world. It's like, they're banning Sky.
Yeah, that blew
Vivian.
my mind.
Yeah, not
it's
at all.
It's like they're banning PC bans.
Yeah,
like,
but the other champion, real quick though, is Furia, our avenging angel of fire.
She's so
Jason
good.
and I'm a
She's
Furia.
great.
I'm a Furia main.
She's fantastic.
Jason and I both had a bet going that Furia would be the name that came out when we said this. And we both were betting on it being the name that you said.
Yeah.
So if we had actually bet against any real person, then we would have just made some money.
I mean, she's really good. She's really fun to play. She's made an impact at the pro level and at the casual level. So
she's a hoot.
She's been great, and I think probably our most successful healer to date. So. All
right. So one thing I want to talk about, and this is something that's been a running theme, because right now in the gaming industry, it's a very hot button issue. I'm calling it the M word.
Okay.
Monetization.
Okay.
Now, and I'm going to cite some examples. Mm-hmm. Monetization is a word that when you bring it up, it makes people uncomfortable. Mostly because you have companies like Activision Blizzard taking like compulsory content, like stuff that was free in Destiny 1, for example, and hiding it behind paid loot boxes or stripping it from the game or making it like, it's not only like the colors in Destiny. Like in Destiny 1, there was something you unlocked and you could permanently use over and over on whatever you wanted on your armor. Because it's just changing the color.
Yeah.
And then they took that and they put it they made it one-time use only, and they put on one piece of gear, and then they put it behind paid loot boxes. So like when people start hearing people using the word monetization, they understandably get nervous.
Yeah.
Do you think, has there been any backlash at all for Paladins having 2 monetization avenues? And if so, like, what's been kind of some of the response to that?
Yeah, so I think the way that we've moved our monetization in the last 8 months or so has been really well received. So in Paladins right now, it's a free-to-play game. All of the cards are unlocked free. As soon as you get a champion, it's free. The champions are all unlockable with gold, which is our free currency. And then the only things that you're monetized for are skins, which most of them are available through events where for a limited period of time, you know, you can buy these direct skins. So I think we have a pretty fair monetization method, but it took some stumbles to get there, right?
Yeah.
Like earlier this year, we were embroiled in what was called Cards Unbound, which was a card system where it was an endless progression where you opened more card packs to level up your cards. And it definitely had shades of pay to win in there, right? And at the time that we put that out, we put it out because we were struggling with monetization, right? Like Paladins had a ton of players, but we were not covering our bills. We were hemorrhaging money. So we were trying to find something that would keep the lights on. Like, I think the thing that a lot of players, like when you play a game, it's like, man, I love this game. I love this game. I play it a lot. It's fantastic. And there's a lot of people that are working behind the scenes to make that happen, right? And it costs a lot of money to make games. So, you know, we went down this horrible path with Cards Unbound, and we realized very quickly this was not what we should be doing. We unraveled it, and we went to the most fair monetization policy that we've ever had in the game. And since doing that, the amount of money that we've made has gone up a lot, because I think players appreciate it when you present them with a fair monetization. And like,
right, because games need money.
Yeah.
Like, these things are not free to make.
No,
and I totally, I'm speaking for, like, I think a fair amount of the average players, like, it might believe that when, like, it might be believed by people in the industry that when players are sounding off about monetization, it's because they feel like a lot of, especially older developers, are quick to write younger players off as entitled.
Yeah. I don't think it's that, though. I think they just want to be treated fairly and with
yeah,
respect,
I'm
right?
not saying that you are. Just like, it's something where, like you guys said, you guys realized you made a misstep and you've moved to a system that works for a lot of people. Like, I personally like the battle pass.
Yeah.
Like, I like that if I want to get the skin at the end and I don't want to, like, I don't have the time, like, I can click a button and boom. But if you don't have the money to do that, you can play and you know.
Yeah, and
you can get it that way.
Players have really liked battle passes. You know, we introduced our own version of the battle pass earlier this year, based heavily on Smite's season pass model that they had previously, and obviously taking some inspiration from Fortnite and Dota and everybody else that's done a similar thing. And people like it so much that next year we're going to do them more frequently. So every 2 months there'll be a new battle pass.
There's only one element of, like, getting stuff that's not even, like, directly monetization that I find personally kind of vexing about Paladins, and it's vault keys.
Yeah, so
because there are things in the vault I want, and every time I get a key, which is like once every 4 months, I have to make like a Sophie's choice of which skin I'm gonna get.
Yeah, so the vault keys were definitely a bad decision on our behalf. It was one of those things that we thought, okay, well, players, maybe they would just like some choice, right? It's like, we could have just said, okay, when you buy 3 skins, you get this new skin that we added to the vault thing, right? But instead we're like, okay, we'll give you a key, and you can either get this new skin or you can get one of the old skins that maybe you missed, you know? And when we did that, players were just like, no, I just want them all, which is totally fair, but it's like, selling vault keys directly kind of undermines the concept of what it was, right? So the idea actually came from Smite. So Smite, for their adventures, does a vault where they add a new skin to it every time, and if you buy through all of the adventures, then you can get everything in the vault. But I think we kind of like tried to shoehorn it into our system, and it didn't work. So we aren't planning on doing vaults again.
I pitched this. I actually, in a rare moment for a games journalist,
I
actually have what I think is an affable solution to this problem. So if you don't want to make vault keys directly purchasable, what you do is you make the vault like the Disney vault.
Okay.
Like, you familiar with the concept of the Disney Vault?
Where like certain things
where
go away
certain
and they
movies go away
Yeah.
and they go in the vault.
Okay.
And then they come back out. So what you could do is cool if you want to use vault keys, you have this selection of skins and they will persist until, and then when something's about to go into the vault, or out of it rather, in this case, you have notice, like, hey, if you're really attached to the idea of getting this specific skin, you're going to lose the opportunity on this date. So if you have a vault key you're sitting on and you want it, now's the time to move on it. And then when you have that persistent selection, if you maybe introduced a way to earn vault keys in some capacity, either by buying them or by some like in-game event where like you, like an Ocean's 11 whatever themed event where you like actually like the characters like stealing the keys or whatever,
Yeah, it's
like
a heist.
then you could have that rotation.
Yeah.
And then you give players the choice, but then nobody feels like they're like having to wait or make like just pick one and deal with that being just the one that they get. That's just an idea that I had.
It is a really good idea. And I think
I don't know how easy it would be to implement because I'm not a game developer.
But I guess one of the problems I think with the vault was this level of obfuscation that you need to get a vault key to get something in it, right? Where if we just had like this is the Disney Vault store and everything in there is priced in crystals, which are our premium currency, and then we just cycle things in and out over time, and we're like, yeah, for this month, these are the things in the Disney Vault store.
Like that are just classic throwback, like stuff you can't get anymore.
And you can just buy these this month, right? Like, why even have a vault key?
Yeah.
So I think we're thinking more along those lines, like surfacing old content in time-limited ways that isn't trapped behind this weird vault interface that is just another level of complexity.
Yeah.
Like like our players are smart. I don't want to say that they're confused by a vault key, right? It's just that
I was baffled about how to get them. Like, because I had one and I had no idea how I even got it.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just like
the game didn't tell me I got it.
Yeah. It was not. We didn't communicate it well to players, right? And it was a step beyond what we needed to do, and it never accomplished any purpose. It was something we thought was going to be cool. We gave it a try. Like everything Hi-Res does, we're very iterative, and we try stuff and it doesn't work, and then we move on to the next thing. And I think vault keys are a thing of the past, most likely.
Right.
Yeah.
Now moving on to a little bit more of the lore side of things.
Yeah.
So we hear a lot about the Magistrate.
Yes.
And about the rebellion civil war going on. Is there any plan for us players to be able to play out scenarios of that, or will there be more characters that are focused on that, whose personal lore develops that storyline in the future?
Yeah, definitely. So I think what we're going to see going forward is a lot of focus on this storyline of the Paladins and the Magistrate and their war as it escalates, and what each side is willing to do to win, right? And I think that you will be able to experience moments of the story through special game modes, through maps that maybe reflect an ongoing battle or something. And one of our real goals for this year is to just integrate more and more storytelling into the game. I think one of the things that we've discovered is, as a fantasy game, players expect more of us, right? They expect it to be like a Final Fantasy 14 experience where you go through and there's maybe not quite that far, but there's some new story to engage with, right? Like, I'm used to, when I think fantasy, I think Game of Thrones, I think Skyrim, I think these crazy epic tales. And I think we're hitting a lot of the notes of fantasy right now, but the thing that we were missing until just recently really is this idea of, and it's all tied together by this awesome story. So really that's what we're trying to focus on nailing for next year, where every new piece of content, like a new champion comes out, and the reason why they're here is because they did this thing in the story. And maybe you even started to hear about them several months ahead of time as a background character, but now they're important.
That actually has happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think that's what happened with Khan, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Khan was teased for a while.
Yeah, we've started down that road this year, right? Same thing with Amani, right? So the appearance of Amani, our new Dragon Mage champion, we started teasing her back in August with this new event that there was an island that her people used to be from, and a beacon was lit trying to summon them back to defend the island, but there weren't any left. We thought that all the warriors were dead at that point in time. And then the Paladins and the Magistrate fought over
the island.
The island.
I really liked that map.
Really fun game.
That was the Dragon's Call event?
It was Dragon's Call. It was a lot of fun. And then after that event finished, we saw in the story that the Paladins won the battle. They had captured the Warder's relics, and as they're sailing away from the island, they get attacked by the pirate Dredge. And the pirate Dredge tries to take the relics. You know, he thinks that he's like this badass now who can control dragons because he has the Warder's relics. Not so much, the dragon comes and kills him, but then the Abyss brings him back from the dead, and now he's an undead pirate who happens to have a Warder's relic. And then Amani now has shown up to reclaim her relics and her rightful status as the Dragon Queen herself.
Right.
And yeah, it's going to be awesome. Like that kind of a story arc that goes through several months is like a first stab at what we want to do for all of next year. And I think it's going to be even better next year because we started planning it so much earlier. So
yeah. Just to kind of like start wrapping things up, I do want to shift gears a little bit. Now, we actually just talked with Ajax and Richard Yu from Smite, the Smite side of things. And one of the things we talked about is also a pervasive problem in Paladins. With Smite, the way they're moving to handle toxic players is with their new Banhammer initiative. What kind of strategies are you guys looking at implementing, or maybe you already are implementing, to help combat the tide of like people being not just like racist in chat, because that's awful and needs to be taken care of, but like people who are doing it to such an extent that they start throwing the game through their actions. Yeah. For example, in a Switch match this morning, I had a Saris who wanted to be the tank, but like somebody already picked the tank's roles were already filled. And so what they decided would be an appropriate reaction to that was to do 2k healing on a character with full health, with a character almost at full health, and then self-destruct by throwing themselves off the deck on the mushroom, the Bright Marsh map, over and over and over again. Yeah. And so how are we dealing with that?
So obviously that's not acceptable, but I think it's really hard from a like programmatic perspective to tell, like, is this player trolling or are they doing something that their teammates don't like, which isn't necessarily bad, right? Like, there was a big controversy in the League community earlier this year. I think somebody was playing like Singed Support or something, and he was doing really well with it and had a great win rate, but his teammates always reported him because they were like,
You're not doing what we want.
You're not doing what you want. Yeah, exactly. And I actually just dealt with a situation like that in Paladins where this guy mained Damage Furia. And he would communicate.
Well, because she's really good.
Yeah, but he would communicate in chat with his teammates, hey, I'm picking Furia, but I'm playing her damage. Like, we will need another healer because I'm going to be doing damage with her, right? And if you look at his match stats, the guy's got like a 70% win rate on Damage Furia. He's almost always top damage. The guy's incredible. But he gets reported like 80 times a week because people don't want him to play Damage Furia. So it's a really tough situation. You know, you can't just look at the quantity of reports. You have to look at like what they're actually doing, right? So it's a big problem that I think we're still working to solve, like as an industry. We are doing things that hopefully will encourage people to be more positive, just in general. Like we're going to do a post-game commendation system, which I think has helped in a lot of other games.
It feels good to get those.
Yeah, and, you know, another thing that we have planned for next year is more persistent lobbies, where you know, if you don't decide to leave after a match, then the 10 people who are in the match will get shuffled up and placed into another game. So the people that you were against last time, maybe they're your teammates this time, right? And it's to build this idea of more of a community where you can talk to each other and make friendships. And it's not just like, I get paired with this guy, I see him from a game, and I can be a dick to him, and then I never see him again, right? Like, that's a large part of the problem. It's that there's no
sense of community.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're trying to do a lot of things that build community, you know, and that encourage people to be more positive as we work on the more technical side of, you know, how do you identify when somebody is actually a toxic thrower versus doing things their teammates don't like.
Right. And on the more verbal side of things, like people being abusive in voice chat or abusive via text, are there any methods you guys use to evaluate those? Or?
Yeah, so our customer support team has some pretty advanced tools that, you know, we share a lot of it with Smite, where if people are caught doing naughty stuff, they get they get in trouble most of the time. You know, it's not perfect. We could definitely be better, but especially text stuff is really easy for our team to pick up on now.
Or like abusive names.
Abusive names, yeah.
Like just like in the last week, Jason's seen like 4 variants of people with names, different variants of Hitler did nothing wrong.
Yeah,
As a
that's
username.
always fun.
That's really bad.
And I guarantee at least one person in the YouTube comments right now on this video has that name.
Yeah, that's they should not be.
They should
on the
not do
internet
that.
and- or live. But I think
Seconded.
you know, I think that's something that we should probably take another look at if that's happening. You know, I personally haven't seen it in a while. I've been playing mostly on.
I've got some Switch screenshots I should show you later.
All right. I've been playing mostly on PS4 and PC recently, so
Yeah.
I'm missing that Xbox and Switch community. So.
Although to be fair, most people's Switch usernames are in Japanese, so like
You don't know if they're offensive unless you can
Yeah.
read it.
Until you see something like mega vagina or something like that or whatever, and it's like, really, you can come up with anything like better than that? Obviously, that was a toned down version of what I've seen.
Just Kilgoon. That's a good name. Just call yourself Kilgoon.
Yeah.
That is a cool name.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But that's really the thing. Like, is I think a lot of times with players, I know myself included, when you get somebody who is genuinely like trying to destroy the game, like they're
it's
AFKing
horrible.
or they're like. And then when you report them, sometimes it can feel like you're screaming into the void because it's like, did my report do anything? Did anyone even look at it? It's because then you get games back to back where it keeps happening and it's easy to get super frustrated.
It is. Yeah. No, I think like improving players' experience is a big part of having a good game, right? Like you want people to enjoy their time, right? Otherwise, it's like, well, I can play any other game where I'm not going to get made fun of.
I can just go play Yakuza and not deal with
Or I'm
anyone.
not going to have my sexual orientation called into question.
So there's
I mean, it should be called into question, but like that's not the issue here. Like
this isn't about me.
Yeah, this is not about me specifically.
So I think there's definitely more work to be done there. But like another thing that we're planning on working on next year is. A lot of times you get in a game with a player and they're forced to fill into support or something. They literally don't know what they should be doing. They're like, oh, we need a flank. I guess I'll pick the flank. I never play flank, right? So we're trying
that
to...
can be, like, being that person can be tricky because, like, I've been, like, part of the reason, like, I only started to get high in ranked. Like, I only got to diamond once I, like, learned to play every role.
Yeah.
Like, because then I was just like, all right, I'll be the guy who fills. If you guys want to play something, play it, I'll fill.
I got to plat just healer and guardian.
Well,
yeah.
We aren't all as good as you.
And it's like,
I'm not as good as me.
It's like being the guy who gets stuffed into that role where you don't know what you're doing. Like, that was me for the longest with healing.
Yeah.
It was like, when I started, I was not good at playing supports, and now I'm a support main. Like,
So what we're going to try and do next year is do a new system that, like, in game while you're in the match will kind of give you objectives and show you like what you should be doing, like to help
In a
your
role.
team. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, it's going to tell everybody to rush caught.
Well, yeah, or maybe when you're a flank, you get like an in-game mission that says like kill the enemy healer, right?
Oh, that would
and
be
then,
so
and then
That's cool.
Yeah.
Now, even just from a tutorial, like from not looking at it as a tutorial, that's something that would just add another layer to the game. Like, I really like that idea.
Yeah. So that's something that we're experimenting with. It's kind of a complicated system, so I don't know exactly when it's going to come out, but like things like that help people. Like, that maybe don't want to be throwing, but they're just really bad at the game and are learning, right?
Gives them something to aim
Give them something to aim for, right? Like,
And then in future, they can go, I remember I was given missions to do this. Maybe this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Exactly.
And then they do it.
Yeah. So we're working on a lot of stuff like that. Like, we really do want to make Paladins a great experience for everybody.
Yeah. Final thing.
Yes.
This is what I talked to Chris about
Okay,
earlier.
lay it on me.
A lot of people...
specifically us.
Specifically me, especially, miss the parts and pieces skin system.
Yes, yeah.
And I know that it was abandoned in favor of being able to put out more high quality skins that don't have to be broken into pieces.
Yes.
I have come up with a way for you guys to never hear anyone complain about the parts and pieces being missing again.
Okay, lay it on me.
All you have to do is re-release a version of the Infernal Makoa skin with the googly eyes on it. And then with the cuddly voice pack.
Okay.
And then, well, because you can use the cuddly voice with it. But yeah, you release that, and what you could do, my thought process was, If you don't want to do that one, because what Chris said when I brought that up was, well, then other people are going to request other like horrible combinations they want.
Yeah.
And it's like, cool, do a chest. Call it the Abomination chest.
Turn it into a contest.
Do it. You can outsource like the top 5 designs people are always asking for. Like, we want this combination. Like, cool. Here's 5 of them. Here's the Abomination chest. You give us crystals. You can have these awful, awful things that you want that make people upset, and we never want to hear about the parts and pieces system being
and you
ripped
can
out
finally
again.
be quiet.
Yeah, that is a hilarious idea, and it's actually not a bad idea. And I'll talk to our art director about it. I'll see what Thunderbrush has to say.
Just if you guys decide to do it, just at me when you announce it on Twitter. Like thanks to at that one loud guy for the idea. Here's the Abomination chest. If you guys are mad that this happened, go yell at him. Like, that's not on us. He made us do it. He's holding a gun under the interview table. You can't see it right now. Like, that's
when you
tap
said
twice if you're in danger. Like,
when you said that you had one more thing that you really wanted to see in the game, and it was just the 2 of you, I thought you were gonna be like, we need Kenny Omega as a playable character in game.
We do.
You know?
We absolutely
need,
do.
You know, some kind
yes,
of,
he can be a flank.
Yeah, that's
and then his ultimate.
No, he would be a front line.
Oh yeah, and then
He
he
would
can
absolutely
just
be front
V-trigger
line.
people off the side of the
Yeah.
map, like a way more aggressive version of Torvald.
Yeah, it would be awesome.
Snapdragon
Yeah.
suplex people. It'd be beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I was totally expecting a wrestling question there. I feel very slighted that I didn't get it, but other than that, it was a.
But that is a really good suggestion. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Kenny Omega, if you're watching
Yeah.
this,
Kenny
I'll at you on Twitter.
Kenny once replied to a tweet that we did. So like that's
yeah.
You're basically famous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically best friends. Like I'm basically Kenny Omega's best friend. Is what I'm saying. I could never take the spot in his heart that Kota Ibushi occupies.
That is very true.
So, but yeah, that's the idea I had. The Abomination chest.
Yes.
You make 5 old troll pieces and parts combos. One of them
horrible.
has to
Just-
be one of
yeah.
them has to be Infernal or Akuma Mako with the googly eyes.
Okay.
And then you're in there, and people will buy. I guarantee people will buy it. You know, people will because they're always saying, "Well, I can't make this awful."
Yeah.
Awful graphic sin happen.
Yeah.
And then you can, I call it a skin sin.
Okay.
Is what it is.
All right.
And yeah, and so you can do that. And you guys don't even have to pay me. Like,
You did models yourself because like they would definitely.
I actually learned Maya in high school.
Okay.
So
All right. Maybe you could. Yeah. We'll call you up. You know, put you on retainer. It'll happen.
yeah. But thank you so much,
Yeah, thanks,
Alex.
man.
It's been a blast. Thank
It's
you
been
for
great.
putting up with my awful sense of humor.
No.
I am serious. The Abomination chest would make money.
I think it probably would.
I think you
Yeah,
guys should really look at doing that.
I told you I'll talk to Thunderbrush. We'll see what happens. If the community tweets him enough after seeing this video, maybe he'll agree to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Add him. Add him on
Add him
Twitter.
on Twitter. # Justice for Makoa.
This has been an interesting interview.
Yeah, it has.
And
Thank you so much.
Thanks for your
We
time.
do
It's
what
been
we
a lot of
can
fun.
to stand
you
out.
guys-
It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you guys for joining us for the interview. Make sure you subscribe down below. Give us a thumbs up. Share it with all your friends, enemies, and pets. And for more coverage right here from HRX at DreamHack Atlanta, stay tuned to MMOHuts.com.